Hi, so I've come to the studio today to kind of, not exactly lock it up, but put the plants somewhere where they can stay a little bit warm maybe, and to water them. I've already done this video once actually, and it didn't end very well. So I'm going to try and keep my stuff together. So all I wanted to say really was that please know that you are never alone, even if you feel it sometimes. It's been such a difficult year for a lot of people. What have we learned? Let's look on the positive side. What have we learned from this year? I've certainly learned that I don't miss stuff. I miss my family. I miss my loved ones. I miss hugging my sons. I miss being able to go and see them. I miss my grandchildren, hugging them and stuff like that. What else have I learned? I've learned I don't need stuff. Not that I was a great shopper, but it's one always likes to see what's going on and all that kind of thing in the shops, and not so much fashions. I mean, when you live in Cornwall, it's not so much a fashion, it's just an essential way of clothing yourself warm, especially at the moment. But so lots of things I realised that I haven't missed. I've missed travelling, I've missed camping, I've missed this second lockdown was especially hard because of the weather, obviously in November, as a lot of people found it a little bit more depressing maybe than the first one. First one we were busy in the garden, walking on the beach and doing all that stuff. So as we approach the end of 2020, there's probably not a lot to be said about this last year that hasn't already been said. And really my invitation is, if we can find, even if it's just one positive of this last year, or maybe a hobby that you've had more time to go back to, something you haven't had a chance to do for a while, maybe you've forgotten how much you loved reading, maybe you've forgotten how much you loved doing jigsaws, whatever it is. Maybe you've done more walking because you've had more time. Again, we've had lots more time to do stuff. So bring that with us to 2021. Just leave behind us what we haven't enjoyed. It certainly hasn't been the most fun I don't think any of us have had ever this year, or the last 9 months. And the invitation is not to set resolutions. I know it's a tendency we all have. If you look up the word resolution in the dictionary, it's a very firm, it's a promise, it's a definite. Okay, I'm going to make this resolution. I'm promising that this is going to happen. And for a lot of us, I've made resolutions previous years, and by the end of January, maybe one or two of them have already slipped by. So there's the invitation then is to set an intention. An intention is something you'd like to happen. An intention is an aim, an aspiration. It's not a firm promise. It's something which you'd like to happen. And I find that much more achievable, because then immediately it's much softer on ourselves. Whatever it is, you may not feel you need to change. Great. Sometimes we don't need to change. Maybe it's a very slight shift of perspective rather than a habit, perhaps. There's a whole kind of scheme of things there, but the invitation is to just, as our days are physically getting lighter now, which they are here in Cornwall, not by much, but a little bit, you can tell even just, when the night's drawing in, you go, oh, it's actually like 20 minutes later than it was last week. So there's an optimism. We can begin to think about maybe how we're going to work our vegetable plots this year. What are we going to grow? What worked well last year? What didn't? You can begin, there's things now to look forward to. The days when you can go to walk on the beach. Hopefully we can go camping and go on holiday and things like that. Who knows? Maybe abroad, maybe in this country. At the moment, none of us know. But there is lots of light here, not just physical like around us, but in our hearts, hopefully, whether it's the vaccine that you're looking forward to, whether it's just more freedom to be able to get out and do the things you like doing. Whatever it is, it really doesn't matter. I think we need to remind ourselves that there is lots of joy and passion that we can find in our lives, small things, curling up on the sofa in the weather we've got at the moment, watching that soppy Christmas film that you always wanted to watch but didn't feel you had the time to. Having the lions, whatever it is. And be kind to ourselves. Obviously be kind to other people, that's an obvious thing for anyone to ask you to do. You don't have to be a yoga teacher to remind ourselves to be kind to other people and to ourselves. But let's be kind. Think kind thoughts, think nice thoughts. Remind ourselves that compared to a lot of other people, we are still so very fortunate. Even though our lifestyle, our habits, our travel, everything has been cramped this last year. So as we go into this evening, obviously a very quiet one compared to what some of you are used to. If you are in a country that is completely free of any restrictions, then please go out and have fun. For those of us that can't, go and have a ball. And I think for the people I've spoken to that have been in lockdown, that are now coming out or have been out, the appreciation for having that freedom, for being able to go out to see friends, to have some fun, to go around to people's houses for dinner, all that things that we do actually take for granted, don't we? And this has maybe been a bit of an eye-opener for us, how much freedom we did have, and how we miss it, and how we're looking forward to having it again. So the invitation is to, as we come, if you are going to stay up to midnight, I always find it very emotional, actually, New Year's Eve. I don't know why, but I always do. But, take a deep breath in. And as you let it out, just think that you're letting go of all the stuff that you don't need to take into next year. Maybe take another deep breath in. Think of all the things you'd like to happen this coming year. And then maybe exhale and just let go of your attachment to those plans. You hope we're going to be able to do this. None of us know when or how. And I think sometimes we get so attached, and then we get disappointed. If we don't have that initial attachment, then maybe we don't get quite so disappointed. And just breathe. Breathe in. Whenever it all gets too much, just take those 5 deep breaths. You can take it sitting down, you can take it having parked the car in the car park, you can do it wherever you are, standing in the kitchen, wherever it is. Just take 5 deep breaths. You can make the Ujjayi breath if you're a yoga student and you're familiar with that. The ocean breath. And as we think about the ocean breath, again, very fortunate to live close to the ocean here, the ocean just keeps coming and going. It changes the beach underneath it. Sometimes it's super powerful and loud, the roar of the surf. Other times it's still and quiet and calm. It's a bit like life, really. And if we think of our breath as being each individual wave of that ocean, just coming in, just going out. And the calming effect is actually huge. And it can take us away from a situation where we're just about to lose the plot. It can take us from a situation where there's a confrontation and you can just ease it, just calm it. So the reminder, I think, as we finish this year, is that we have very little control over our lives. We have very little control about what happens to us. The only control and the power that we have is how we respond. So the invitation is to take those few breaths so that when you do respond, it is a response rather than a reaction. Reaction tends to be emotionally led. Response very often comes deeper from your heart. So lots of things to look forward to. Maybe slight alterations in our diet, maybe if we feel that we need to, but maybe just a slight shift of perspective. It's hard sometimes when we don't feel on top form and we think our life sucks to feel grateful. And we know we're always invited to feel gratitude, and then we feel that we're a failure because we don't. It's a very tough balance, this life of ours. Just work from your heart. Work from your heart. Love deeply. Find passion in some of the smaller things, maybe if that's all you're allowed to do at the moment. Be kind, be loving. And know that you are never alone. even if it feels like you are. Reach out for help. There are lots of very kind, generous people out there that will help you, your friends. There are organisations if you feel that you can't put on to your friends. And this too will pass. This too will pass. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. I do believe that. Whatever camp you're in about believing the virus, the vaccine, whatever, it doesn't matter. I think we've all been affected by this in a very similar way. So, my dear friends, my students, my friends, any family members watching this, please know that that my love goes out to you. Hasn't been an easy year for a lot of us for many reasons. The normal life events have been made even trickier because of the virus. So let's open our hearts to 2021 and embrace everything it brings us with love, with light, with hope. Thanks for listening, guys. Happy New Year to you all. Take care. Namaste.